All right, in this video, I'm going to speak to you about a sensitive topic about overcoming depression. And, I'll just share with you my thoughts, my opinions. Now, before I do move into the video, I need, the YouTube disclaimer that I'm not a medical professional and this is not medical advice. If you are undergoing depression, please seek professional help. Okay. However, in this video, I would give you my personal tips or strategies as to how I've overcome depression and working with my clients, what I recommended for them. Okay, so please use your discretion and decide whether it's applicable to you or not. All right, so let's move on with the incident. Now, what happened was yesterday in the evening, I was sharing a few resumes that I had received in the past. Okay, some people like to see the resumes in my WhatsApp groups and they like to, get some creative ideas. So those who are not my clients and those whose resumes I've had, I erase their details and then I share the resume with them. So he got in touch with me. He's a well-wisher of mine. He's a good friend. I consider him a very good friend. So he sent me a message, sir, please could I have the resume? So I was like, yeah, sure, man. I'll send it to you. And then after I sent it to him, he apologized and said, I want to apologize for not being in touch with you. So for some time. So hey, perfectly fine, you're busy, I'm busy. So I said, is everything okay? And over there, he surprised me by telling me the reason I was not in touch with you or anyone was because I underwent depression. Okay. I underwent depression. I was depressed for some time. And when he told me that, I was kind of surprised because he didn't seem like the kind of guy who would get into depression. So I was like, you are the last person I expected to get into depression. So I said, what happened? And that is where he stated very vaguely. He didn't give me anything specific. He said, I broke off with a couple of friends. And then that led me to end up being lonely, away from everyone. And then I stopped going out. I stopped going to restaurants. I stopped gaming. He used to love gaming. I stopped going to the gym. And he said, then very soon I could not focus on work. And I was kind of taken aback because, he was always mentally strong. But I guess, we all face our challenges. And then he said, I know you must be laughing, given how silly my thing, my problems are. You have been through a lot more worse. So immediately I responded to him, see, listen, you can't, compare you to me. We are different. We are built different. And, I'm 47 years old. He's younger to me. I've had a whole history right from childhood of hardships. So I'm kind of stronger. So, you can't compare. So then after that, I gave him a few suggestions and solutions as to how he can overcome, his depression. But then I thought about it after I finished and I said, since it was late night, I thought I'll make a video and I'll share both for him and for you guys on how you can overcome depression. So I'll give you some of the points. Now, the phase in my life where I went through depression was predominantly emotional. Okay. One was during the breakup. The most painful one was during the breakup. The girl who I tattooed her face on my chest. When she broke up, I never thought it would impact me so much. It led me down a path of depression, which I think for the first 6 months was so severe, I couldn't get out of the room. Seriously, I locked myself in the room. I wasn't even interested to go out. I would go to work, but I was not there. I would cry every single day, and I was, hardly eating. It was terrible. And the second depression I think I did get into was when I, failed in my career. I failed in money and everything. But that one didn't last too long, because obviously, if you don't have food, you don't have money, you have to survive, right? You can't sit at home doing nothing. So, and I've spoken about it in my video. If you Google search or search on YouTube, 2011 Roy Machedo. So, okay. So how did I get out of it, and what do I recommend? See, the first most important thing is, when you're depressed, we tend to think again and again of the same problem. We tend to overhype and over-exaggerate what we are suffering. It's not that you're not suffering. It's not that you don't have problems or issues. But, when your mind is sitting idle, you will keep thinking. And when you keep thinking, you'll most probably end up thinking the sad, depressed thoughts. So the first suggestion or recommendation I give people is, get busy. Okay, don't keep your mind free. Because when the mind is free and the mind is quiet, it will constantly think. And when it thinks, almost every time the mind will think depressive thoughts. So keep busy. And what do I mean by keep busy? Do something. And by doing something is not just mental, do something physical. Because, see, mentally, obviously you can't focus. So even if you were to read or study or watch a movie, you'll end up in depression again. You can't even sit in a movie theater and watch a movie because, you'll be sad. But physically, if you do something, your mind will be occupied. Like, for example, walking. And don't just walk slowly. Walk fast. Put some effort. Let's say, for example, if you were to try to do push-ups, I know that you'll not be in a mood to do push-ups. But if you were to do push-ups and see how much you can do, you would go 3, 4, 5, and as you're doing it, this is a fact, as you're doing the push-ups, you'll not think about the depression. However, be careful if you're trying to lift heavy weights, because you'll end up injuring yourself, because in that anger and rage, you might lift more than what your body can handle, and that is something I did. And I ended up injuring my lower back, which permanently, even today, still gives me pain sometimes. Okay, so be careful of lifting heavy weights. And when I said about walking and walking fast, don't sprint. I did that also, whereby I ended up damaging both my knees and my lower back. So, brisk walking, all right? And maybe to make it difficult, you can take weights, or you can go walking on the beach, on the sand. I don't know if it is clean. In Dubai, it used to be clean. The other thing you can do is maybe clean up your room. Anything that involves physical work. However, if you find that you're not in a mood or frame of mind, reach out for help. Ask others to help you. You must. There is no shame in asking others. So, and go in some group activity. Let's say, for example, you had to go to a Toastmasters meeting, which I used to go for, and they ask you to do things, or they tell you, okay, keep this thing ready. Okay, next you'll be giving a speech, or you'll just go, can you drive and get that? Or you have someone who's with you and you go shopping. Now, you need not go just for Toastmasters. You can go for, let's say, a cleanup crew, or you can go for some charitable organization or volunteering work, or something or another. Just do something. Figure out what it is. I don't know what is present in your neck of the woods, but keep yourself busy. So that's the first one. The second thing is, when you see old memories of old things, that will pull you into depression faster. Like, for example, in my case, I had broken up with that girlfriend, and or rather, she broke up with me. When I used to see her photographs, her videos, I had her clothes at home, her bra, her underwear, her sexy lingerie, her letters, her photographs, her toys, the toys, not sex toys. I'm talking of love toys, like teddy bear and, all that. So it would always remind me of her. So I had to get rid of it. Now, obviously, what belonged to her, I returned it. I didn't destroy it because she had some, other private stuff that she kept with me. I didn't destroy it. Thankfully, I didn't get so overwhelmed with emotions. But the rest of the other stuff, letters to me and all that, you can either give it to somebody to keep it and then collect it back, or you can do what I did. But be warned, this is more like a permanent solution, which you can't reverse. I burnt it. I destroyed it. All her letters, all her clothes, all her, which she didn't want. Other stuff that she wanted, I gave back. I was chatting with her brother. So he said, you can give this back. This we don't need. So whatever they said they didn't need, took it outside my apartment in a sandy area, put it all together with paper and in a metal kind of container, set it on fire. So out of sight is out of mind. Then on Facebook, that time there was Facebook, I blocked her, So I did my due diligence. Otherwise, what happens is if the person keeps coming in front of your face, you'll keep thinking about it. Now, obviously, if you don't have a relationship depression, if someone breaking up with you, you may have, let's say you failed in the exam or you lost your job. Once again, the same protocol applies. Keep busy. Don't sit in the same place. If you sit in the same room of your house 24/7, you're looking at the four walls, it'll keep haunting you, right? So go outside, do something. And with emotions, like I told you, reach out for help and keep being busy. The other thing is, if you can think clearly, then write down a list of goals, or list of things to do. When I'm with my clients who ask me the solution for their depression, I just go wild. Tell me what are the things you'd like to do or can do. It may not be related to your goals, but if it is, it's great. Anything that pulls you out of depression, they would say, walk my dog, go to the coffee shop, watch a movie, go to a restaurant, or go for a drive. So whatever they write, we take it down. And then we choose this template to decide what can you do next. And it need not be something grandiose. It can even be clean up the house, clean up the toilet, keep the kitchen in order, or just go window shopping, or just go outside, go to a mall and take a round. So whatever you tend to do, or in my case, sometimes I have to go to a electronic store or clothes outlet, and I would go and see each and every item, check what was their prices, so whatever it takes. Nowadays, you can listen to audiobooks, you can watch YouTube videos, you can engage with people online. So choose. Some people even prefer video games. I know of a client who, to tackle his depression, he keeps playing video games. Even though it's not the best solution, at least it is some solution. Remember, something is better than nothing. Then the other thing which I recommend is reach out to people for help. It need not be a professional, although I would highly recommend seek out the services of a professional person. Okay, but if you don't have that kind of budget or those resources, then reach out to someone who's elder than you. But just be careful. Sometimes you get people who will give you a big long lecture. And be careful if you bump into someone who's religious. They'll give you too much of religious gyan, which will give you a headache, man. So that'll pull you more into depression. But then if you meet someone who is has the maturity or has the capacity for empathy, they will guide you as to how to overcome this. And the final thing which I would tell you is two things I'll give you. One is the ability to write. If you can write down your thoughts, I have to write down my thoughts in a diary. So make sure the diary is only for you. I just remembered the moment I got most depressed, apart from this girl thing, was when I'd gone to Dublin, Ireland, my first marriage, and to start my career and to start my life. And everything failed, and I came back. And I was so depressed. I shaved my head and just sit in the room all alone. It was a terrible, depressing thing. It was so bad that my mother, even though we never close, she used to look at me and cry. It was that depressing. So, I has to maintain a diary, has to write down my thoughts in a diary. That will also help because you transfer those thoughts and emotions. And as you're writing, you focus, So writing does help. So that's another one. And yes, when you do exercise in a healthy way, anything that involves movement, sweat, like how I'm walking right now, anything that increases your heart rate, your breathing, that increases your body temperature where you sweat, that is always good, because then what happens is the feel good hormones in your body and the chemicals, whether it's adrenaline or it's what do you call that, the happy, I think it's dopamine. Yeah, one is dopamine. I can't get it. It's serotonin. There's that name. Yeah, it's a, I don't know, chemical or hormone that makes you happy. Can't get the name. Okay, whatever. So it just floods your system, and you just feel different. That is why after exercise you always feel relaxed. But one thing which I would caution you is avoid smoking, avoid drinking alcohol. That is not going to help you. And please be careful if you are going for paid kind of pleasure. Just be careful that you don't get addicted to this, and please avoid any kind of tablets or drugs, and it's not worth it at all. Even if the doctor advises, I wouldn't recommend, because their job is to get you hooked on to chemicals. The more they sell, the more money they make. So just be careful of that. Do it the natural, healthy way. And eat healthy, stay in an environment that is fresh with sunlight. If you stay in a dark room all alone, obviously it's depressing, right? So always, be outside. And this may be a long shot, but it does help. If you see someone who is worse off than you, sometimes you feel ashamed. If you see someone who is suffering without a hand, without a leg, and they are, on the ground, or you see people who are suffering and going through hell, like in Syria or Palestine, and you can see what they're going through. They have lost their children, their mother, their father, or somebody, and they don't have food to eat and all that. You'll think, what am I complaining about? And if you did lose a loved one, I wouldn't recommend that, because you lost a loved one and you're looking at someone who lost a loved one, you might end up crying more. And if you feel like crying, please let it out. Don't bottle it up, because the more you bottle it up, the more it'll impact you. So my message to anyone who's going through depression is, follow these protocols and strategies. And please, many of you have this tendency where you send me a message and say, oh, I'm feeling like this, I'm feeling depressed or suicidal. I'm not a counselor. and I don't know you, and if you randomly send me, hi, I'm feeling depressed, or I'm feeling suicidal, I'm not I'm not a doctor, and I'm not a medical professional, and I don't know you. And, I'm running a business. That is my business phone. And even if you do have the money, I would always recommend go to a medical professional. Say, you're coming to me, mine is personal branding, mine is totally another discipline. So, and remember, fight it. Don't give up. Don't sit down. Don't let it overtake you. Always remember, we have all been through ups and downs, and there's no one who has had everything easy. So, and I'll tell you, this whole experience will make you stronger. It'll make you stronger. It'll make you better. It's just that phase of going through it is very tough. During that phase, you might even feel, I don't know how I can go through it, how I can make it through. Like even when the breakup took place, I didn't know if I could survive that. Seriously, it might sound funny when I say it now. But guess what? Whether it's a loved one who dies, whomsoever, mother, father, brother, sister, child, at some point, you will overcome it. That getting through phase is very tough. I know it's very easy for me to talk about it. I'm not going to act like, see, I've been... No. It's a very scary thought, and I don't wish it even on my worst enemy. But if you have to sustain, if you have to survive, you have to fight it, right? Oh, I just forgot to give you one more additional point that I thought would be of value. In case, you want another tip or strategy how to overcome depression is, adopt a pet. Like if you have a pet that you truly care about, maybe a puppy dog or a kitten, for some people that helps them overcome their depression, because now you have someone to care about. Some people actually even go, and when they see children, when they're playing and they play with children, that time they overcome this feeling of feeling sorry or pity for themselves. So, you might think of, just make sure that it is a child that knows you and their parents know you. Don't play with random kids here and there. Might end up being a disaster. And go to new surroundings, go to new avenues, new outings. So when you see people, when it's busy, it'll take your mind off. Just don't go to nightclubs and places where people get drunk. Nightclubs, okay. Music helps you, fine. Also, listening to loud music and exciting music will change your mood. Okay? So I thought should add these points as well. So let's hope you get a few extra points. Okay, having said that, I hope this video was helpful to you. Do share your comments and thoughts down below. And keep in mind, maybe someone who's depressed is reading this. So if you can share something inspirational, motivational, or an experience of your side where you overcame failure or how you overcame depression, it would be nice to read it. All right? You guys take care. This is me signing off. Ciao.